Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another review of a very cool figure, one from a line we haven't taken a look at too much recently because we ran through the entire first wave of it, but this is the final remaining member of the Paleo Revived Wave 1 line. I did not have this previously. It was the only one from Wave 1 I was unable to get my hands on at first, so we now have it. I've now got it painted, so without further ado, let's jump to a closer look and check it out. So as you can obviously see, this is the Oviraptor. I don't even know if I mentioned that in that first little jumble of things I said, but as you can see again, the figure looks absolutely awesome. It's very clearly based on the Jurassic World Dominion version of the Oviraptor, which is a dinosaur we've been really hoping Mattel would give us at some point, but so far, for some reason, they have just been staying far away from the Oviraptor, and I don't know why, because it's such a unique-looking dinosaur. I know it would sell, but as you can see, I think Dinomikemaks absolutely knocked this one out of the park when it comes to the screen accuracy department. First of all, you can see the crest, you can see the beak. The beak is just slightly open. I tried to capture the colors of the Jurassic World Dominion version as best I can. As you can obviously see, the figure's pretty small to kind of, again, go in line with the Mattel figures, which is basically what the Paleo Revived line is. He usually tries to scale them to go with the Mattel line. So you can see, again, the head sculpt looks really quite nice. You can see how the mouth, if I move my finger away, the mouth is just ever so slightly open. You can also see the nostrils. The eyes are sculpted out pretty nicely, and we do have some nice feathering. You have very calm feathering in the face. Obviously, as you move back there into the back of the neck, you've got a big bunch of feathers sticking off of the back of the head and neck area. Also, again, something that you do see on the Oviraptor in Jurassic World Dominion, and if you look at them, you can see how all of the feathers are sticking off of the back of the head. He sculpted them really nicely, added a good bit of life to the feathers there. That looks really nice. You can see the same thing again for the opposing side of the head. The figure overall is in pretty much a neutral position, which I do really quite like. Gives it that, almost like concept art or even maquette sort of pose and look. Again, I tried to capture, like I said, the colors as best I can with grays and whites and stuff, similar to the way you see it in the film. You can also see that there's a black stripe that kind of runs down, and then also one down here, something that you also see on the Oviraptor in Dominion. And then if you look here at the underside of the neck, you can see the throat and everything sculpted nicely. Moving down into the stomach, you can see a little bit more here as far as like skin texture on the underside of the dinosaur. The arms are sculpted quite nicely. You can see the fingers as well. We've got some more feathers kind of sticking off of the arm right there, which again is exactly as you see in the film. So I think he very much so studied this one to give us one of the best versions I think we're going to see of this Oviraptor. Who knows if Mattel will ever even make one, but I still can say with confidence that even if they do, I think Dinomikemaks will be much more screen accurate. As you move through the course of the body, you can see the feather detail again becomes a lot more fine as you move through. It also looks really quite nice. As you move down into the legs of the dinosaur, you can see the feet look really quite nice. You've got all the toes sculpted nicely, all the nails. You can even see the dew claws back there are sculpted out. And again, we return to the skin texture down here, so I painted that with like a brownish sort of a tone. And then as you move back up, you can see the tail leads up, and then we have these super fluffy feathers as you move out here. A very impressive display of plumage on the tail of this Oviraptor. And just like with the feathering for the rest of the figure, you can see that the feather detail looks really good, very wavy, lots of differences as you move through the feathers. Again, just adding a lot of life to the figure as a whole. So when it comes to a Jurassic World Dominion Oviraptor, that is absolutely perfect if you ask me. Now, the only downside for this figure as a whole is the fact that mine can't really balance. I can't get it to stand, and that's not even mostly, entirely due to the overall design that they gave it in Jurassic World Dominion. Again, with having so much feathering out there on the tail, it really kind of like, makes the balance off. The tail is definitely top heavy, which pulls the dinosaur back. So if I move our Schleich puppy that we have here, you can see it always falls back. So unfortunately, this one would need a stand or something to balance it out to have it stand perfectly, but I'll just use this little puppy for right now. But as far as a size goes, for a length, as I mentioned, this is a very small figure. You were looking at about 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters. And then for a height, if we just kind of stand it here in a natural position, you're looking at a little under 2 inches, like not quite there. Maybe I would say closer to actually 1.75 inches, actually more like a hair over 1.75 inches, or around the 4.5 centimeter mark, heading toward 5 centimeters, but not quite there. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon in the Collect Day human being next to our Paleo Revived Oviraptor, and you can see it's really quite small, but this also helps to give you an idea of the size of it next to Robert Muldoon to again show you how, the dinosaur fits nicely in the Mattel size range, which is really cool to be able to kind of interact the Paleo Revived line with the Mattel line. Definitely a really cool idea on the part of Dinomikemaks, but hopefully this should give you a pretty good idea of the size. And I don't think we need too many size comparisons this time around, because we have a Mattel Mini Parasaurolophus and a Captives Mini Indoraptor next to our Oviraptor, and you can very clearly see it's pretty much right there in the same similar size range as these other minifigures that you see next to it. So I'm really excited to finally be able to check this one off the list and complete my entire wave 1 of the Dinomikemaks Paleo Revived line, and what a great way to end the line for me, because this is probably, like, when it comes to the line as a whole, I would say this is probably one of the most screen accurate dinosaurs that he has released, and it's also one of the most welcome to my collection because I don't have very many fully feathered Oviraptors, so it is really nice to have one here from Dinomikemaks, but it's just generally nice to also have a version of the Jurassic World Dominion Oviraptor, because again, Mattel hasn't released anything like this, and the Toy Monster International Captives line hasn't released one yet, so we're very dry when it comes to Jurassic World Oviraptors, so nice to have Dinomikemaks step up and step in and give us one. And like I said, I think it looks great. The overall sculpt is very nicely done. The fact that you would receive this unpainted allows you to either paint it up like the Jurassic World Dominion version I have here, or of course, you can paint it up whatever way you want. That's really up to you. And the detail is very nice, very vibrant. You can see a lot of life when it comes to the feathers and everything, even if it does have that neutral pose, which I'm also a big fan of because again, it's very maquette-like. It still has a very highly detailed sculpt with a lot of life to the feathering, almost making it look like the Oviraptor was just kind of running along and stopped for a minute to just sort of look around and kind of survey the landscape. So a really nicely sculpted figure. The paint, you'll have to decide if you think it's nice or not. I can't comment on that since I did the paint, but it is a decently small figure, so I'm pretty proud of my paint apps for the size. I also remember seeing Dinomikemaks. If you haven't checked out his images on his Instagram, definitely check them out. I remember his paint was really impressive. But if you are interested in grabbing one of these and adding it to your collection along with any of the other Paleo Revived lines, check the links that I will include in the description to take you straight over to where you can order yourself one of these or whatever dinosaurs you want. Again, there are quite a few in this line, and considering this Oviraptor is only $4, like that's a steal to get yourself a really nicely sculpted version of this dinosaur. So make sure you check those links, go grab this awesome figure, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.